Chapter 41, Defeat Wang Ba and Sneak into Tiantai Peak. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Moreover, he had just breaking through 3 realms in a row, and his body was full of energy, and he needed to vent it urgently. Later, he was going to find Yuankang immediately, but he didn't expect that before he went to find Yuankang, Wang Ba would come without a fight. He was really looking for death. Hearing Changge's harsh words, Wang Ba turned his nose up and said coldly, "Ha ha ha, come and see how you can't leave this place." Boom! A terrifying wave rushed out of his body, sweeping in all directions, bones and joints roared, tigers and leopards thundered, and crackled. "Boy, I was going to escort you to the punishment hall, but now think about it, why bother? Wouldn't it be easier to kill directly?" Wang Ba shouted angrily. In fact, it was not the case. Instead, Changge had just said harsh words to him, and he immediately realized that this was a disguised admission. Then there is no need for the punishment hall to check the evidence, just kill him directly. Bang, crack, Wang Ba's fist blasted, the air exploded, and a terrifying sonic boom was heard. The fist wind rolled like thunder. Crackling. "Wang Ba, I can only say that you came to the wrong place." Looking at the iron fist blasting towards his face, Changge remained calm and sneered, "Your cousin is looking for death, you are the same as him, you are looking for death." He knew why Wang Shan was killed. Why can't he punish others when they punish him? What justice? Bang! In an instant, Changge's body was under pressure, and the breath of the blood-moving realm was like a tornado and rain, bursting out in full force. Boom! The house exploded directly and was shattered into pieces by the impact. Changge stood in the broken ground like a god of war. Billions of cells and blood in his body were moved one after another. Under the blessing of his powerful cultivation, they flowed violently, and his meridians burst like thunder. What? Sensing this breath, Wang Ba's eyelids jumped, and he said in horror, move, blood realm." Suddenly, he understood why Wang Shan died here. Originally, he was still very curious. Changge was just a little transparent person who couldn't practice. He could only be a vase. How could he kill his cousin? But who would have thought that he was actually a strong man in the moved blood realm? Hidden. For a moment, his face changed drastically, and he howled, "Oh my God, how is it possible, how is this possible?" Boom! Changge's fist blasted, the air exploded, and the sonic boom was like a bolt from the blue, shocking people's lungs, and blasted heavily. Wang Ba's face changed again and again, and he wanted to retract his fist, but it was too late. Changge's fist had already struck horizontally. Crack! Crack! In an instant, the fists of both sides slammed into each other fiercely, and a sharp sound of bone joints burst out. Wang Ba's fist was directly smashed into pieces, shattered inch by inch, bones splattered, and blood flowed. And Changge's fist didn't even break the skin, and continued to blast forward with all his strength. Crack! The fist blasted through, like a dead tree and rotten wood, and Wang Shan's entire arm was directly penetrated, and broken bones mixed with blood splattered. His whole face turned pale all of a sudden, and he said miserably, Ah. Your arm. Your arm." The whole arm was forcibly penetrated, and even the shoulder was removed, revealing the white bone stubble inside, and the broken bones and blood burst, turning into a sad and beautiful blood mist. The piercing pain made his face crazy and trembling all over. Oh my God, is this the strength of the blood-moving realm? This thought just flashed through his mind. Boom! Changge attacked again and punched him in the face. Wang Ba was startled and hurriedly urged his true chi to form a true chi light shield on his body. Bang ka! Changge punched the body's true chi, and Wang Ba's true chi light shield exploded directly, and then was punched in the head. The head was like a fragile watermelon, which was directly exploded, and red and white things splashed, and blood rain poured down. Plop! His headless body fell heavily. His limbs twitched a few times, and then he stopped moving. At the last moment of his death, he suddenly realized that he really couldn't leave here today. After killing people, Changge quickly searched his body for a while, and finally found a storage bag on his waist. After opening it, he quickly saw that there were more than 9,000 pieces of top-grade spirits inside, and there were others, but Changge didn't have time to check carefully, so he tied up the bag and put it in his body. Then, he punched Wang Ba hard again. Crack! Bang! Wang Ba's whole body exploded inch by inch, and was destroyed into a ball of blood mist. Then Changge went to the back mountain to get a few buckets of water, washed away the blood at the scene, and made sure that no clues were left. Then he went to cut some wood and rebuilt a small house. Finally, he suppressed his cultivation to the Dharma realm, changed into a grey robe similar to Wang Ba, and then changed his appearance according to Wang Ba's appearance. Not long after, he changed into Wang Ba, and then left here. Tiantai Peak. Changge, who had changed his appearance into Wang Ba, easily entered Tiantai Peak without any inspection, and had a smooth journey. Many disciples greeted Wang Ba in a friendly manner when they saw him. "Hello, Senior Brother Wang." "Hello, Senior Brother Wang." Changge nodded silently and walked towards the interior of Tiantai Peak. Not long after, he arrived in front of a luxurious courtyard. This was Yuankang's residence. Yuankang is a genius and is highly regarded in Tiantai Peak. His food and accommodation are far superior to those of ordinary disciples. Chapter 42. Send you to heaven. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Changge entered the mansion. This is a luxurious courtyard, well decorated and magnificent. A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. He swaggered into the enemy's belly, and no one noticed anything unusual. What a bunch of idiots. Tap. Tat. At this time, a group of disciples suddenly came in from outside, all of whom came to find Yuankang. These are the disciples of the strange old man of Tiantai Peak. They usually have a good relationship with Yuankang and call each other brothers. Therefore, when they have nothing to do, they will come to Yuankang to ask questions. When they saw Wang Ba here, they all bowed and saluted, respectfully saying, "Hello, Senior Brother Wang." Changge nodded and asked, "What are you doing here?" "I have encountered a bottleneck in my cultivation, and I want to find Senior Brother Hu to solve my doubts." A disciple said. Others also nodded one after another. Yuankang is a famous genius in Tiantai Peak. He can understand the principles in the classics and apply them to other things in a short time. After just one glance, Changge lowered his voice and said, "It just so happens that I came to find him, but he went out and seemed to go to the main peak. You can go there to find him." After hearing this, the disciples bowed and thanked him, saying, "Thank you, Senior Brother Wang. Then we will go to the main peak." "Well, let's go." Changge nodded expressionlessly. Swish, a sound of breaking wind passed by, and all the disciples just now left. After making sure that they had gone far away, Changge walked deep into the mansion and knocked on the door of a tall and magnificent attic. "Who is it?" An angry voice came from inside. Yuankang was studying the technique inside, but this technique was very strange. He could not understand it and felt a little irritated. Now he heard the knock on the door and felt disturbed. "It's me, Wang Ba." Changge lowered his voice. "It's Brother Wang." Yuankang was startled and pushed the door open and said respectfully, "Brother Wang, why are you here? Please come in quickly." Wang Ba was at the 9th level of the Dharma realm, while he was only at the 8th level, so he had always been very respectful to Wang Ba. Changge walked in with a swagger and sat in the upper seat. Yuankang brewed a cup of tea, brought it over respectfully, and said with a smile on his face, "I wonder what you want to teach me, Senior Brother Wang." "Nothing to teach me, I just had good luck recently and got a precious sword. I don't know how to use it, so I want to give it to you." Changge took the tea and took a sip of it, saying lightly, but when he said the word give, his tone obviously changed a little heavier. Immediately, he took out the dragon-slaying sword. Yuankang looked at the sword, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he was overjoyed. He could clearly feel that the sword was extremely heavy and domineering. The sharpness of the sword that burst out inadvertently almost made him unbearable. He tried to lift it, and immediately stepped back. His face changed, and he said in surprise, "So heavy? Good knife." "It is indeed a good knife." that he had never seen such a powerful knife before, and now he saw it for the first time, and the boss gave it to him. How could he not be excited? This thing is called the dragon-slaying knife. It is worthy to be given to you, right? Changge said expressionlessly. It is worthy. It is worthy. Senior brother Wang is worthy of being a senior brother, and he is so righteous, that Yuankang didn't hear the meaning of his words, and his eyes showed gratitude. If senior brother Wang doesn't mind, I want to swear to the sky with you and become brothers. I wonder if you are willing. In this case, then I will accept it without hesitation. Changge said lightly, but his words became a little cold, but Yuankang didn't notice it because of his excitement. Okay. From now on, you are the elder brother and I am the younger brother. Yuankang showed a happy expression. Although he didn't know why Wang Ba came to give him such a powerful treasure, he thought about it carefully and remembered that he and Wang Ba had no bad relationship. They usually had a good relationship. Brother, don't be polite. Since you and I have become brothers, why don't you let me send you off? Changge said again at this time. After hearing his words, Yuankang was a little stunned. What does send me off mean? He hurriedly said, No, brother Wang, you are confused. This is my mansion. I don't need to go back. However, what he didn't expect was that the next words of Wang Ba shocked him and shocked him. No, it's you who are confused. I want to send you. Send you to heaven. This precious sword is qualified to send you to heaven. As soon as the words fell. Boom, the huge sword force rolled up, like thunder and lightning. The sword force was like thunder, the strong wind blew in the face, and the tables and chairs creaked. Yuankang's face turned pale, and he said in fear, Brother Wang, why are you? Crack, Changge didn't waste words, and the dragon-slaying sword slashed down heavily, with a weight of 1,000,000 kilograms pouring down, and slashed hard on Yuankang's head. The sword hasn't chopped yet, but the weight alone crushed his face and crushed him heavily, and then the sharp blade chopped through like cutting melons and vegetables. Puff, blood splattered everywhere, and Yuankang had almost no power to resist. His body was directly cut in half and he was dead. A big hole was cut in his board. Then, Changge searched his body for a while and successfully found a storage bag. Then, Changge moved his mind and the dragon-slaying sword disappeared from his hand. Then, he walked out of the back door and rode away on his flying sword. The whole process was very smooth and quick, and no one in the Tiantai Peak noticed it. Yuankang died quietly, and no one knew about it. Changge flew on his sword and went straight back to the back mountain of Lihua Peak. He took a bath in the clear pond, and then changed into a brand new white dress, as if nothing had happened, and he was calm and composed. Chapter 43, Counting the Harvest, Thunder Blade, Phantom Step. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 43, Counting the Harvest, Thunder Tyrant, Phantom Step. A full hour passed. A disciple came to the mansion to find Yuankang. When he knocked on the door but got no response, he was puzzled and pushed the door open and walked in. A little later, he came out in a state of shock. His expression changed drastically. Brother who has fallen. As soon as these words came out, the entire Ping Typhoon was immediately shocked. Not long after, the strange old man arrived with a large number of people and entered Yuankang's house. Looking at the body that was cut in half, he was shocked and angry, and roared in anger. Who? The strange old man's name was Du Sihai. He had a mean face and was notoriously sinister, but because of his high level of cultivation, no one could do anything to him. They is united against the outside world, and the one who killed him must be someone from somewhere else. An elder looked very unhappy, and suddenly took a breath of cold air after speaking, realizing something, and said in a lost voice, Hiss. Killing silently inside the opponent must be a master. As soon as these words came out, a whole row of gasps sounded all around. What a joke! Yuankang was killed without anyone noticing, so silently. This is undoubtedly a provocation, and also a slap in the face of their. Du Sihai's face was extremely gloomy, and his angry roar was like thunder, and he jumped up and said, Investigate. Investigate for me. You want to know who did it? and I will make him live a life worse than death if he dares to kill my people." That the thunderous roar of anger shook the entire. Many disciples came upon hearing the news, and when they saw Yuankang's miserable state, they all gasped. Someone was killing people recklessly in their place. So cruel. The peak of the ridge is no longer safe. That at this moment, a middle-aged man in green arrived, and there was a sharp sword pressure. Everyone felt a sharp sword intent coming, and felt that their face was almost cut. Sword maniac, a strong man in the palace of gods, was enough to sweep through any blood-moving realm. Even if the blood-moving realm was heavy, it could not withstand his sword. After the blood-moving realm, it was the palace of gods. Sword maniac, you're just in time. Du Sihai glanced at him and shouted coldly, "This matter is handed over to you. Within 3 days, you will see the result." Sword maniac has no name, only a code name. He is a cruel and ruthless swordsman, Du Sihai's private force, the Death Warriors. Under the attention of the crowd, Sword maniac nodded slightly and said in a deep voice, "Peak Master, I suspect that this matter is inseparable from Lihua Peak. The context of the whole incident is very simple. Yesterday, Yuankang went to Lihua Peak to convey Du Sihai's words, but was slapped in the face with blood in the end, and came back in a mess, and he was killed the day after he came back. Who would believe it if it had nothing to do with Lihua Peak?" "You said, that woman did it?" Du Sihai suddenly guessed something and said coldly. "No, Yi Qingyao probably won't do it herself, as it's easy for her to be caught." The sword maniac pondered for a while and said, "Because she slapped Yuankang yesterday. If she comes to kill again, others will definitely suspect her. She's not stupid, so she won't do such a stupid thing." "Who do you think is the one who did it?" Du Sihai was extremely angry. A gleam flashed in the corner of the sword maniac's eyes, and he said coldly, "Su Changge. Du Sihai's eyelids jumped and he suddenly smiled. "That kid can't practice, he's just a vase. Changge wants to kill him, it's like slaughtering pigs and dogs. How can he kill Changge?" The sword maniac shook his head and said, "The Peak Master is wrong. There are only 2 of them in Lihua Peak. If they don't kill Yi Qingyao, they will definitely kill him." Du Sihai was very annoyed and said in a voice transmission, "No matter what, this matter is left to you. Since you think you want to kill that kid, then check him first. Check quietly and don't let the sect master find out, that the matter of raising a dead man is Du Sihai's secret and cannot be exposed. The sword maniac's public identity is his staff. Many people in the sect don't know the true identity of the sword maniac. Only Du Sihai knows it clearly. And this time, facing the assassination against the Tiantai Peak, the Jitaifeng dispatched a dead man for the first time. In the house, Su Changge is counting the harvest. There are 2 storage bags in front of him. This is the spoils he got from Wang Ba and Yuankang. He first opened Wang Ba's, took out the spirit stone, and then began to look for other things. Not long after, he found hundreds of pills, all of which contained rich spiritual energy. In addition, there were some yellow-level medicinal materials and some Xian-level ordinary weapons. When he turned to the bottom of the bag, Su Changge suddenly discovered that there was an extreme method thunder tyrant. Extreme method, his pupils lit up. "I didn't expect there was an extreme method. This wave is coming." His dragon-slaying weapon has always been wielded with brute force, and he has never used any method. This method now comes at the right time. But he naturally won't learn this method. Isn't it good to get a subsidy from the learning system? This technique is the most powerful one in Wang Ba's storage bag. Other than that, there are some valuable things. Su Changge roughly estimated that it could be sold for nearly 10,000 high-quality spirit stones. Next, he began to search Yuankang's bag. Compared to Wang Ba, Yuankang was obviously inferior. There were only more than 5 high-grade spirit stones in his storage bag, which were glittering, and some low-level herbs that he couldn't name, however. At the bottom of his storage bag, there was a mysterious step method. Su Changge was overjoyed when he saw it. "Phantom step," he blurted out. After reading a few pages, Su Changge suddenly realized that this step method could increase the user's speed by 100 times, and walk like the wind. Once it is performed, the speed is so fast that only a residual image is left along the way, like a phantom. Okay, without further ado, I'll go and get the subsidy. That he pushed the door and went to Yiqinyao's residence. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula dot push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target _type, mix. Chapter 44, Beat Up All Those Who Disobey. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after Su Changge left, a ray of light flashed across the Tiantai Peak, and a figure with a terrifying aura fled here, with a sharp sword intent on his body. It was the sword maniac. Looking at the empty wooden house in front of him, a gleam of light flashed in the sword maniac's eyes, and he said, "It's late. But it's convenient for me." That he entered the house and searched around, but didn't find any suspicious points. In the end, he had to hide behind the wooden house and wait for the rabbit. Following the familiar road, Su Changge soon arrived in front of the small courtyard. The gate of Yiqinyao's courtyard was still ajar, and he pushed it open gently. Disciple, not seeing him coming, Yiqinyao's eyes lit up, and her eyes were full of youth and brilliance. Su Changge walked up to her, held her in his arms, lowered his head and smiled. "Master, I'm here to give you a gift again." Feeling his warm embrace, Yiqinyao felt her heart beating wildly, and a blush like a blooming flower appeared on her white and crystal cheeks. When Su Changge came this time, she actually expected that he might give her a gift again, because he came several times before. He gave her gifts. "Disciple, you are so good to me, I really don't know how to repay you." Yiqinyao opened her red lips and whispered softly. Although she didn't know what the gift was this time, she also expected that it would definitely not be an ordinary thing. As soon as my disciple has something good, he immediately gives it to me without holding back. This is really, deeply touching, and I have no way to repay him. Su Changge slowly moved his arm down, holding her slender waist, and just stroked Yiqinyao's slender waist. Yiqinyao's pretty face suddenly became redder, like a blooming rose, shy and charming, about to bloom. This, disciple, please be gentle." Su Changge instead held her tighter and said with a smile, "Master, isn't this a repayment?" That Yiqinyao was slightly stunned, and then her cheeks turned red, like the sunset on the horizon. "Yes, giving yourself to me, isn't that a repayment? It's time to get down to business." Su Changge took out the 2 books of martial arts and handed them over, saying, "Master, these 2 books are Thunder Tyrant and Shadow Step, which are for you. Take them." That Yiqinyao was touched, took them, held them tightly in her arms, and said, "Disciple, it's great to have you. The same goes for me." Su Changge smiled and prepared to leave. "Wait a minute." Yiqinyao was a little reluctant and stopped him. She wanted to stay with Su Changge for a while longer. "What's wrong, master?" Su Changge asked. "You don't have to worry about the fact that you can't practice. I will find a way for you," Yiqinyao said seriously, "and you don't have to worry about this martial arts competition. As long as I am here, you will be able to participate. In fact, just now, I have already gone to the master to argue. I told him that you must participate in this martial arts competition." Just now, she went to the main peak and told the master that Lihua Peak must participate in this meeting. The master didn't say much, but just told her that it was indeed the idea of the weird old man at Tiantai Peak. The weird old man thought that Lihua Peak had only 1 disciple. What was the difference between having no disciples? Isn't this a waste of time for the competition? Besides, that disciple can't practice, and he is a nobody. What if such a person goes on stage and is beaten to death with 1 punch? Wouldn't it be a shame for Lihua Peak? After learning this, Yiqinyao secretly made up her mind to find a way to let Su Changge practice and become stronger. Hearing her words, Su Changge was moved. He clenched his fists and made a vow in his heart. "When the martial arts competition comes, I will definitely give master face. Beat all those who don't obey. Let those who look down on Lihua Peak change their minds." He looked towards Tiantai Peak, his fists cracked, and he shouted in his heart, "Weird old man, when the competition starts, I will beat your disciple's dog head." By the way, Yi Qingyao suddenly remembered something and said, how about this, I will buy you a powerful monster and use it to make up for the gap in your cultivation, what do you think? The martial arts competition is allowed to bring monsters, and monsters are also a part of the cultivator's strength. It is worth mentioning that the martial arts competition is not a single duel, but a two-person team. Each disciple can find a teammate to team up with, so the chance of winning is greater. Generally, in the end, the disciple with weaker strength will withdraw from the competition for the Son of God, but he can help others win the position of the Son of God, and the reward he gets is immeasurable. Oh, Su Changge's heart moved, can you bring a monster? If Xiao Shi appears, won't he kill everyone? Okay, then you can buy me a monster. Although he already has a monster, he didn't refuse Yi Qingyao, nothing else, too hypocritical. What he hates most is hypocritical rejection, and one more monster means one more fighting force, which is like adding wings to a tiger, so why not? Well, that's it. Yi Qingyao plans to buy him a stepping cloud Pegasus, which has a very strong cultivation base and can not only be used to fly in the air, but also to fight, but there are also disadvantages, that is, it is very expensive and requires a lot of money, but she thinks, isn't it reasonable to spend money on her apprentice? By the way, Yi Qingyao said again, you still need a teammate. I will find you a stronger one. After the end, give him some reward. Well, thank you, master. If there is nothing else, I will go back first. Su Changge thanked him. Okay, go ahead. Su Changge turned and left. He quickly looked at what kind of skills the system had given back. Watching him leave, Yi Qingyao felt empty in her heart, as if her heart had been stolen by him. Chapter 45 Super Critical Hit Reward, Supreme Gale Electric Knife, Taichu Shadow Ghost Step. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Changge was walking on his way home. Before you even get to the ground, the system subsidy has arrived. Bite. You gave away the Earth Extreme Sword Technique Thunder Sword and the mysterious footwork Shadow Step. The tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering a super critical strike. This super critical hit multiplier, 375,000 times. Congratulations to the host for getting the Supreme Wind Electric Knife. The Taichu Shadow Ghost Step. There are really two books. Su Changge was overjoyed and grinned from ear to ear. At the beginning of the gift, he felt that since he was giving away 2 books this time, there should be 2 books when the subsidy comes back, right? Now that the subsidies are in place, it is as expected. The system sounds, Tai Shang Gale Electric Knife, Level Sword Technique. In the Shang era, an immortal king once used power to split Huashan Mountain. It was extremely terrifying. It is divided into 20 levels. When it is practiced to the extreme, it can cut 20 knives in an instant, with sparks all the way. With lightning, the sword is deadly. Fuck, Su Changge couldn't help but be overjoyed. Mother, can you chop 20 times in an instant? No wonder it's called the Gale Electric Knife. The speed of the knife is so fast that even a single person in his 20s can't keep up with it, right? And there are fireworks and lightning all the way. What awesome special effects. Funds are burning. You can imagine how painful it must be for the enemy to be slashed 20 times in an instant. Immediately, he set his sights on the Taichu Shadow Ghost Step. The system sound also sounded, Taichu Shadow Ghost Step, Level Step, a secret method not passed down by a huge force called Taichu Holy Land in the upper period. It is divided into 26 layers. Once completed, you can hide in the shadow, regardless of walls. Shadows, or the shadows of big trees, even if they are both human figures, can hide in and lurk in them silently. They can also ignore the distance and flash between the shadows. Damn it, this one is even more ridiculous. Su Changge's eyelids twitched. He was really shocked. This step can be called a life-saving weapon. No matter whether you are chasing or being hunted, you can directly follow the opponent's shadow to hide in, and then unknowingly obliterate the opponent. This is fatal. The most important thing is that it can flash between shadows regardless of distance. Doesn't that mean that no matter how far the distance is, as long as there is a shadow wherever you look, you can teleport into the shadow? Suddenly, Changge understood why the Holy Land of Taichu no longer taught the secret method, because once someone who practices this footwork is staring at him, he is almost unconscious and is caught up by the opponent and then killed without a trace. This is too scary. If this is to be passed on to outsiders, what's the point? This footwork is a perfect match with the blast electric knife. Immediately, Changge planned to start practicing. There was no one around anyway, so he simply walked and practiced. Soon. Layer. 2 floors. 4 floors. 8 floors. 15th floor. 18th floor. 20 floors. In just a short while, Changge had repaired the Taishan Gale electric knife to the full level. He watched the Taichu shadow go step for a while, and it took him about 10 minutes to practice it to the full level. The reason why he is so fast is that he has a clear constitution, no impurities, and a strong ability to accept things. Secondly, because of the subsidy, the entire system has been analyzed, which is easy to understand and easy to use. After completing the practice, Changge let out a breath of turbid air and felt the secrets in his mind rushing like waves in a great river. The profound meanings of Tai Shang Feng electric knife and Tai Chu shadow ghost steps rolled around in his mind, were absorbed and digested by him, and finally settled down, and he understood them perfectly. After completing his training, he planned to find a deserted place to try out the power of the supreme wind electric sword. Just when he took the first step, an idea suddenly flashed in his mind, and he thought of something. If I improve my cultivation level a little more, wouldn't this sword technique explode with power and become even more powerful? That what a coincidence. I was just about to absorb the remaining half of the spirit stones, but that idiot Wang Ba came and killed me, but now I can continue to absorb it. Immediately, he entered the system space and prepared to absorb it. Master. In the system space, Shao Qi transformed into a human form to greet him. His red clothes swayed in the wind, and his tail swayed gently. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula, _tabula dot push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300x250, target _type, mix. Chapter 46, Break the Blood and Step on the Palace of Gods. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Changge looked at her and said with a smile, Qian, I think the colorful gauze you wore at the beginning is very beautiful. It's thin and highlights your figure. It's very pretty. Although the body-hugging red dress looks good, the material of the dress is very thick, blocking her graceful figure and making her look a little bloated. Qiu smiled sweetly and changed into the colorful gauze that was wearing at the beginning. The colorful gauze is very thin, like silk, and her whole temperament is even more outstanding, like a fairy wandering in the mortal world. Changge chatted with her for a few more words, and then started to absorb the spirit stones without wasting any more time. Buzz, that he placed his palm against Lingshire Mountain, and the billowing spiritual energy immediately poured into his body at a rapid speed, transforming into pure power. Boom, that in just a moment, breakthroughs began. Move the blood realm to the sky. Move the blood realm to the sky. Half step to the shrine. Boom, that the first level of the divine palace realm. The third heaven of the divine palace realm. The fifth level of the divine palace realm. Divine palace realm Changshan. Within a moment, all the spiritual stones were absorbed, leaving only a few top-quality spiritual stones. As he continued to absorb, Changge's cultivation was like making an arrow, soaring crazily, directly breaking through the shackles of the blood-moving realm, and reaching the center of the shrine in one fell swoop. He opened his eyes, which were as deep as the starry sky, twinkling with a little bit of wisdom, twinkling like starlight, and the aura of his body became deeper and vaster. He didn't absorb the remaining top-quality spiritual stones, they were still useful. Lord is stronger. Hai looked at him from a distance, his beautiful eyes shining brightly. Qi, in 1 year's time there will be a sect martial arts competition. Then you and I will appear together and kill everyone, Changge said with a red face. Yeah. Nodded meekly. Immediately, Changge exited the system space and walked towards his house. It didn't take long, we arrived at the cabin. Huh. This breath. As soon as he came back, he suddenly noticed something was wrong and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. I sensed that there was a breath hidden behind the wooden house, as if it was waiting for me. That breath is also the weight of the shrine. If it were placed in front of him, Changge would never be able to sense it, but now that I have entered the realm of the Divine Palace, not only has my overall strength increased dramatically, but my perception has also undergone a qualitative change. He walked over there and shouted in a deep voice, "What are you being sneaky about? Get out!" Behind the house, Jianchi was hiding here with his hidden aura, preparing to observe secretly and investigate Changge quietly, but when I heard the other party actually calling me, my mouth suddenly opened and I felt deeply unbelievable. What's going on? Isn't he hiding his aura? He can actually feel it. He is a powerful person in the Divine Palace realm. How can he, a transparent person with no cultivation, be able to sense this? For a moment, Jianchi was extremely surprised, but then I thought about it. This is a good thing. If the other party can sense him, doesn't this mean that the other party has exposed his secrets? It's true that you can't find anything without wearing iron shoes, and it takes no effort to get it. He walked out from the back of the house, with a cruel smile on his face, and said coldly, "My dear, I said you were the one who killed Yuankang. It seems that I guessed it right. You are capable." Just as he finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed and he was stunned. He sensed that Changge's body was engulfed by terrifying pressure fluctuations in the Divine Palace realm. The fluctuations were like the vast and boundless deep sea, thick, deep, and unparalleled in depth. It made him feel faintly stressed. What's going on? Jianchi was shocked. A transparent person who was unable to practice suddenly had the same level as him, which shocked him greatly. His eyes were wide open and he couldn't believe it. What's going on? Your eyes are so big. Do you want to kill me with your eyes? Changge sneered. He already understood what was going on, and Tiantai Peak sent someone to investigate him. But judging from his appearance, he doesn't seem to be a disciple of the old man, but rather a master of the staff level around him. However, how could Changge be afraid? Come one, kill one. Come two, then kill a pair. Jianchi was shocked for a while, but finally came to his senses. So what if his cultivation level is equal to his? He is not called a swordsman for nothing. He is addicted to swords as much as his life. He nourishes swords with his blood. For 3 years, his attainments in the way of swordsmanship have reached an incredible level. He didn't think that Changge could be better than him. Even if their cultivation levels are the same, the difference in their moves is difficult to make up for. Aha! A long sword was unsheathed in the wind. The sword was 3 feet long and about 2 fingers wide. It was like a stream of autumn water. Before it was completely unsheathed, you could directly feel the cold sword intent. The fallen leaves all around were so far apart that they separated automatically and were cut in half by the invisible sword intent. Chapter 47, Kill the Sword Maniac with One Strike. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Go to hell. The sword madman held the long sword and swung it gently, and a sharp sword light burst out instantly. His face exploded in an instant. Incited by this sword light, the sharp sword intent shot out like a dazzling rainbow, stabbing him quickly. Sensing the power of this sword, Changge smiled coldly, and with a thought, the dragon-slaying knife suddenly appeared in his hand. The thick blade exudes domineering pressure and is filled with a magnificent ancient aura. No nonsense, running the Taichu Ji Dao code. The thick blood-red qi in the body flows one after another, erupting with the sound of thousands of troops galloping, and slashing forward with a knife. Boom! Boom! The thick sword light flashed past, with great force, and struck the Jianchi's sword in an instant, and a harsh sound of gold and iron clashing suddenly erupted. The sword's light was obviously hostile, and it exploded into pieces as soon as it came into contact. What? Jianchi was shocked. He actually lost. How is that possible? How could you? Suddenly, he heard it, heard the sound of thousands of horses galloping inside Su Changge's body, like thunder, deafening. This made him shake his head and his expression changed in shock. Suddenly, he understood, the opponent possesses extremely high-level qi, which is stronger than his, enough to make up for the gap in moves. But what level of true energy is it that can actually unleash the potential in the body to such a degree? Could it be, blue infuriating energy? Hiss, sword maniac dare not think about it anymore. You must know that the sloppy old man at the door of the Tibetan scripture pavilion has pure purple true energy. This blue true energy is only a little bit worse than the purple true energy. This guy named Su turned out to be a genius with hidden talents. Playing the ruthless role of a pig and eating a tiger. Just when he thought of this, he suddenly felt the strong sword energy coming from behind him. When he looked up, he found that Su Changge in front of him had already seen him before he knew it. Oops, he's behind it. Too late. Su Changge jumped out from the shadow of Jianchi, and aimed the dragon-slaying knife at his back and slashed hard. 2,000 kilograms of strength, all released. In an instant, sparks splashed, lightning shot, sparks and lightning exploded together, flashing dazzlingly. 1 knife. 2 knives. Knife. 20 knives. Taishang's lightning sword showed its power and struck out 20 times in an instant, all of them hitting Jianchi's back. Crack. Crack, the sound of broken bones resounded through the sword chicken's refined body. The dragon-slaying knife forcibly opened the spine, and was still slashing inwards. You, what kind of sword skills are you doing? Jianchi's face changed, turning as white as paper, and he was breathing heavily. The dragon-slaying knife had penetrated deeply into his body, slashing from his back to his chest, and passed through him, causing broken bones and blood to flow freely. Su Changge talked nonsense with him, then used a fierce force to split him open. The dragon-slaying knife passed by, destroying the bones and bones. The blood dripped from the sword, and the bones stubbled and splashed down. After a few breaths, Jianchi fell down, split in half. Death's eyes were extremely frightening, as if he was looking at a monster. He claimed to nourish his sword with blood and claimed to be a swordsman, but now he died under the sword and was cut in half by force. Little did he know that what Su Changge practiced was heaven-level swordsmanship. He could cut with one strike, sparking lightning along the way, which he could not compete with. The first time Su Changge used Taichu's shadow ghost step, he was caught off guard. In fact, if he faced him head-on, Su Changge could also crush him. He possesses blood-red qi, and his real strength is 8 times that of monks in the same realm. But he wanted to try the Taichu shadow ghost step, so he attacked from behind. This is the secret method passed down by Saint Taichu. It's so good, D said, this step is so good, it can win by surprise and resolve the battle quickly. If comes to assassinate, it would be more suitable for. Immediately, he bent down and quickly groped for a while on Jianchi's body, then punched his body to pieces, and finally washed away the scene of the crime, in the house. Su Changge opened Jianchi's storage bag and glanced at it, his eyes suddenly lit up. Level spiritual soldier, that he looked back and forth in the storage bag and saw a whole number of swords inside, all of which were level spiritual weapons without exception. Sword mania is a sword cultivator. He has been addicted to swords all his life. He is proficient in sword weapons and loves everyone except swords. He spent a lot of money to buy this level spiritual weapon carefully. Ordinary swords simply caught his eye. You know, there is only one level difference between the level spiritual soldiers and the heaven level spiritual soldiers. This is even more advanced than the scarlet sky blade given to him by the sloppy old man in the sutra pavilion. How could Su Changge be excited? The name of this sword is about to come out. Ziyin sword, Qingji sword, Benlei sword, Xianqing sword. Su Changge accepted them all as ordered, and then searched the storage bag for a while, successfully finding more than 10,000 pieces of high-grade spirits, some high-end treasures, and precious treasures. He put this all in one bag into another bag and opened it with the money from the system's subsidy. The reason is simple, even if the system's subsidy money is given away, it can still be used as a subsidy, But it can be grabbed from others, at the same time that Jianchi died. Tiantai Peak, a good premonition suddenly arose in Du Hai's heart. This feeling came to him as if the plan had failed. Is there something unexpected happening to Jianchi? Feeling irritable, he got up and went to the Soul Lantern Hall. The Soul Lamp Hall, as the name suggests, contains the soul lamps of many disciples. Once a disciple dies, the soul lamp will go out. However, Du Hai will take care of the soul lamps of important disciples. Soon, Du Hai arrived at the Soul Lamp Hall. He looked up and his face suddenly changed after just one glance. What? How is it possible that the sword maniac's soul lamp went out? Chapter 48. What if I force you to do something? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Du Hai looked at the extinguished soul lamp, his face changing again and again, from shock to incredulity, and then from incredulity to overwhelming anger. There is no doubt that Jianchi has been killed. First it was Yuankang, then Jianchi Luofeng was bullying them too much. Just the two masters and apprentices ran away to do something else. Crack, thought he was furious and clenched his fists hard, and his bones and joints suddenly made a sharp and crisp sound. Immediately, he lifted his feet and left here, stepped through the sky, and rushed to Lihua Peak. He went there in person and asked the other party for an explanation. Not too much. Du Hai came to Lihua Peak. He directly pushed open the door of the small courtyard, broke in, stared at the stunned Yi Qinyao with his gloomy eyes, and shouted angrily with her name in mind, Yi Qinyao, you have gone too far. Yi Qinyao was confused at this time. What was going on? Why did the other party suddenly come over in anger? Could it be that something big happened? He immediately asked, what's wrong? Still pretending to be confused? Du Hai's face turned livid with anger, and he roared, Yuankang came to your place yesterday, and he was killed the next day. He died extremely miserably, being chopped in half. Then, I sent Sword Chi to investigate, but unexpectedly, he was killed again. This matter has nothing to do with you Luofeng. Although he was angry and had a lot of anger in his heart, he dared to shout loudly, Jianchi is a dead warrior and can alert the sect leader, so he is very cautious, but because of this, the fire in my stomach became even stronger, and my liver ached with anger. Don't kill him, he can still talk. I'm almost mad. Hearing Du Hai's words, Yi Qinyao raised her eyebrows and was shocked. Is that Yasen named who dead? Huh, well done. Yes, who killed it? And that sword idiot, could it be that he was also killed by the same person? Who could it be? She knew that Jianchi was a powerful person in the divine palace realm. His entire cultivation was devoted to swords, he was addicted to swords as much as his life, and he was so tyrannical, but she never expected that he would be killed, in his own peak. Who can kill Jianchi except himself? Could it be that he is a disciple? But it's possible. Can my disciple cultivate? All kinds of thoughts flashed through her mind, and she felt more and more that this matter was strange and unbelievable. Anyway, you insist that it was me, Luofeng, who killed you, right? Yi Qinyao said coldly. That's right. It's just you two, master and disciple, run away and say goodbye. Du Hai shouted fiercely. Yi Qinyao smiled, glanced at him coldly, and said anxiously, okay, then bring me the evidence. In Du Hai's mind, 10,000 alpacas roared past. He was so angry just now that he came directly to ask for help. Where is the evidence? Even if there was evidence, I'm afraid it would have been burned by the other party. For a moment, Du Hai held back his anger, his face turned red and his neck was thick with anger, and finally he snorted coldly, rolled up his sleeves and walked away. It's so frustrating to be able to speak out so loudly without any evidence. However, he now wants to leave, but Yi Qinyao agrees. Wait, she spoke coldly, looked directly at Du Hai, and said with hidden words, Du Hai, you framed me, we have to settle this matter, right? Du Hai's heart skipped a beat and he said in a deep voice, how to calculate it? Of course I went to the sect master for comment, Yi Qinyao said calmly, you just broke into Lihua Peak without any evidence. That's it. You also sent to secretly sneak into our Lihua Peak to investigate. This is, do you think I am dead at Luofeng? Du Sihai was shocked. He was bitten back by the other party. But he was also a vegetarian, so he had the courage to shout angrily, go ahead, the seat will support you. Although Jianchi's true identity has been revealed, he is cunning, and he still puts on a show, so the other party can see what's going on. After saying this, he waited for Yi Qingyao to reply, then slammed the door and left. Yi Qingyao didn't say anything else, she was just threatening Du Sihai, and there was actually no reason to do so, although the other party sent to investigate secretly, found out who killed, and she had no evidence. Even if you go to the sect leader will only look at the evidence, but he will not be able to convince everyone. Outside, Du Sihai just walked out the door, turned around and suddenly saw Su Changge. Su Changge also just arrived. He has already hidden his cultivation and plans to give all the treasures obtained from Jianchi to the beautiful master to increase his subsidies, but he didn't expect that he would meet an enemy. It's true that there are enemies on the same road. He glared at Du Sihai fiercely, sensing Su Changge's glare. Du Sihai was so angry that his face turned green with anger. Boy, don't push me too hard, he said a harsh word, turned around and left. Su Changge took a hard sip and shouted, what if I push you hard? You have the guts to bite me. Du Sihai pretended not to hear anything and turned around to go his own way. Su Changge laughed heartily and felt very happy. He immediately stopped wasting time with him and opened the door to enter the courtyard. Chapter 49 Disciple, did you kill Yuankang in Jianchi? You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Du Hai left, he returned to the main hall of the Peak indignantly. I'm so angry. He was so angry that he was shaking all over and couldn't control his body. Boom! In a rage, he suddenly burst out and slapped the table and chairs hard. The powerful force instantly smashed the table and chairs into pieces. He suspected Yi Qingyao and Su Changge, but he had no evidence. Because of the identity of Jianchi, he couldn't deal with this matter openly. This made him feel like there was a ball of fire in his head, which became more and more intense, and he was so angry that he stared blankly. If Jianchi's identity was exposed, then his raising of death warriors would be exposed. He raised not only Jianchi, but a whole army of death warriors. If the master knew that he had done such a big thing behind the scenes, what would be the difference between that and rebellion? The consequence would certainly be a huge storm. It seems that this matter needs to be planned. Du Hai is very smart. When facing Su Changge just now, he retreated to advance and planned slowly when he came back. Lihua Peak, small courtyard. Yi Qingyao looked at Su Changge in front of her, and there were many things in her mind that she didn't know whether to ask or not. In the end, she still asked. That, disciple, did you kill Yuankang in Jianchi? Su Changge frowned and was about to speak, but Yi Qingyao in front of him suddenly sighed and shook his head and said, how can it be possible? You obviously can't practice. Alas, your teacher thinks too much. Su Changge smiled and passed by. Yi Qingyao suddenly thought of something at this time, and said, disciple, there are only you and me in Lihua Peak. Now Du Hai is speechless because of me. He will definitely vent his anger on you. You should be careful. But you don't have to worry. With the master here, he dare not do anything to you. Remember, the master will always protect you. While speaking, she was also thinking in her heart, maybe someone else was at odds with the Tiantai Peak, but framed Lihua Peak. Of course, these are her guesses. Su Changge didn't know. After hearing her words, Su Changge was moved. Master is really good to me, but today he also has something important to do. He shook his head to drive away distracting thoughts, and then prepared to open the storage bag and give away the treasure. When he was about to open the storage bag, he suddenly frowned. No, the weird old man is here, so I have to be more careful when delivering things to avoid exposing flaws. These weapons are for sword enthusiasts. Du Hai must know them, and he is even very familiar with them, so I can't deliver them for the time being, but on second thought, it seems that I can deliver them in other ways. There are many weapon forgers in Kanglan realm. If I can melt all these spiritual weapons and make new weapons and send them, wouldn't that be enough? Although this method is a bit troublesome, it is still good. There are also weapon forgers in the sect, but if I go to them, I will definitely reveal my flaws, so I can choose to go down the mountain. Wait a minute, why don't you ask the Dark Soul Emperor first? As a grandfather-type golden finger, he should have a better way, right? In the novels that Changge read in his previous life, the grandfather-type golden finger is almost omnipotent, and he can solve any problem the protagonist encounters. Why don't I use it? He said he would do it, and he said goodbye to Yi Qingyao and returned to his residence, in the house. Changge took a piece of top-grade spirit, and the rich spirit immediately soaked the house with dew. He did not directly awaken the Dark Soul Emperor, but raised a strange arc at the corner of his mouth, and with a click, he broke the spirit into two halves, the old silver coin of the Dark Soul Emperor. He must not let him eat too much at one time, and it is enough for him to absorb half a piece of spirit. As long as he can be awakened and speak, it's okay. If he eats too much, his strength will definitely recover a little, which is not good for me. Changge's eyes flashed with a gleam. I have to say that the world I travel to has to be guarded everywhere. These villains have too high IQs. Damn it, why don't I travel to a brainless novel? Shaking his head, he took off the jade bracelet and placed the half of the spirit next to the bracelet. Hearing a swish, in just a blink of an eye, the half of the spirit disappeared. Then, an old voice sounded. Ha ha ha, I'm finally alive again. Hey, how come there is half a piece? The moment the Dark Soul Emperor woke up, he was happy, but the next moment he realized that the spirit in his body was not very sufficient and could not last for too long. Senior, I'm holding this sword, do you have any way to? Changge said briefly. As soon as the voice fell, the Dark Soul Emperor laughed and said, why bother? I have lived for countless years, and this is a piece of cake. You don't know. I am actually a fortune teller. I can erase any remaining aura on the weapon, and even change the fate of the original owner of the weapon. Changge immediately showed joy on his face, as expected of an old man. He has many ways. He also knows a little about fortune tellers. There are many fortune tellers in the novels he read in his previous life. This profession can communicate with others, observe the fate of others in the dark, and even calculate when that person will die and what will happen. It is extremely terrifying. What he didn't know was that the Dark Soul Emperor had already deduced his fate at the auction, but the result was that he couldn't deduce it. The Dark Soul Emperor was surprised and overjoyed. Even he couldn't see through fate, so this boy must be extraordinary. He didn't know that Changge's secrets were all covered up by the system, which was just the basic function of the system. Senior, please help me erase the remnants of fate on it, and change my outlook by the way. Changge felt that since he had done it, he would do it thoroughly, not only to make fate unrecognizable, but also to make his outlook unrecognizable. Simple. The Dark Soul Emperor grabbed the spiritual weapon in his hand, tapped the sword with two fingers several times, and the long sword suddenly made a buzzing sound, as if a line in the dark was broken. This means that the fate of this spiritual weapon and the sword maniac has been severed. In this way, even other fortune tellers cannot see who the original owner of this sword is. Immediately, the Dark Soul Emperor moved again and slapped it with one palm. The spiritual weapon was flattened and turned into a ball of fine iron. Then, under the pressure of the Soul Emperor, it was cast into a war halberd. Seeing the long sword turned into a war halberd, Changge smiled happily. Okay, give it to you. The Dark Soul Emperor handed over the recast war halberd. Well. Changge took it in his hand and immediately planned to return to the courtyard to find the beautiful master. At this moment, the Dark Soul Emperor suddenly sensed something and turned his head to look at the back. He didn't care at first, but when he saw the situation behind him, his pupils suddenly condensed and he gasped. Hiss. That. Chapter 50 Saint's Opportunity, Sky Eagle City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing the powerful Dark Soul Emperor, Changge took a deep breath, and Changge's eyes also narrowed. What's going on? He also looked outside. I saw a figure flying in the sky of Lihua Peak with a sword. He recognized it. It was a disciple from Tiantai Peak named Sikong Tuesday. When Sikong Tu passed by Pear Blossom Peak, he slightly lowered his head and glanced down. His face suddenly showed disdain. and he left with his sword. You should be passing by me, right? Su Changge murmured, but he didn't understand why the Dark Soul Emperor was frightened like that. Hiss! The Dark Soul Emperor took another breath of cold air, his wrists were trembling, and he said in a trembling voice, Saint, what? Su Changge's expression changed slightly and he said hurriedly, is he a saint? No. No. The Dark Soul Emperor's expression changed and he said, I have seen through his fate. He is about to meet a saint. No, to be precise, it is a future saint, with the appearance of a saint, extremely terrifying. Su Changge raised his eyebrows and said, tell me in detail. Wait a minute, I'll deduce it first. The Dark Soul Emperor closed his eyes. After half an hour, he opened his eyes again, with a look of shock in his eyes. We figured it out. Sikong Tu took on a sect mission 3 days later. The mission was in Sky Eagle City. During the mission, he met a maid from the Huang family in Sky Eagle City. That maid was a slave bought by the Huang family from the slave farm. She suffered a lot of bullying. When Sikong Tu met her, she was punched and kicked by the Huang family. After Sikong Tu saw her, he rescued her like a dog. Little did he know that this maidservant was the reincarnation of a saint. Once she got a certain opportunity, she would transform into an immortal, and her mortal body would transform into a psychic jade body, and her spiritual energy would automatically enter her body. Even if you drink water, you can improve your cultivation. After being rescued, the maid was grateful to Sikong Tu. After saying these words, Su Changge was also extremely surprised and said, damn it, what a chance, that it is conceivable that the maidservant is very grateful to Sikong Tuesday. When she transforms into a fairy queen in the future, she will definitely bring endless benefits to Sikong Tu. But what a pity. This kind of good thing is not Sikong Tu's turn. Su Changge immediately packed up and prepared to kill the maid before Sikong Tu. At this moment, the Dark Soul Emperor lost his voice and said, oops, I'm overdrawn again and can't maintain my figure. But before that, I advise you to rush to Tiantai City quickly, save the maid, and make love with her. Well, if you gain favor, she will become a saint in the future, and you will gain a lot of benefits. Go. Speaking of this, the Dark Soul Emperor's figure dimmed countless times. He could no longer maintain his figure and fell into a deep sleep. It's because he only absorbed half of the spiritual stone. I know it without you having to tell me. Su Changge raised a smile and was about to rush to Tiantai City. But before that, these 4 halberds naturally have to be given away first. He moved and hurried to Yiqinyao's courtyard. Squeak! Pushing open the door, Su Changge walked straight forward and said, Master, these 4 halberds are the best opportunities one have ever had. I give them to you. Without waiting for her answer, Su Changge directly dropped the halberd in front of her, and then left at the speed of light. Only a chic back is left. Disciple. Yiqinyao looked at his back from a distance, feeling moved in her heart. She glanced at the 4 halberds, and saw that the halberds were brand new, emitting a sharp cold light, extremely sharp, and faintly piercing the space. This turns out to be the earthly spirit soldier. Yiqinyao recognized it immediately. There is only a slight difference between earth-level spiritual soldiers and heaven-level spiritual soldiers. This is a treasure. No wonder the disciple just said it was the best opportunity he had ever had, but he didn't keep it for himself, and dedicated it all to himself selflessly. What a good disciple. For a time, she was thinking a lot. Her heart was filled with ups and downs, and her eyes were full of thoughts and emotions. Window_tabula equals window_tabula_tabula. Push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target_type, mix.